Many people decide to become police officers because they think that the job will bring them infinite power and authority. Today, we look at how rookie police officers behaved when meeting various people. Some of these cops took it too far, so let's go to the videos. A cop pulled over a guy driving a van after receiving calls about a white van near McDonald's, where people claimed to have heard screams coming from the van. The cop, seemingly new to the job, appeared quite nervous as he approached the guy. He started asking if anyone else was with him, and the guy mentioned only his dog. The rookie, still jittery, questioned if the guy was yelling at the dog. The guy, unfazed, said no and asked for the officer's badge number. At least this rookie cop was aware that he needed to introduce himself if citizens asked, but that was just about the extent of his knowledge. Following that, he requested the man to introduce himself and hand over his ID, unaware that citizens aren't obligated to provide their ID to a police officer when they haven't committed any crime.
I just wonder what your name is, sir.
Can I ask why? Can I get your name and your badge number?
Yeah, 1 second. Yeah, we're in the car. So, the reason I'm here and I'm talking to you right now, okay, is because we got a call for a van that was at McDonald's. They heard screaming or something inside the van. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on.
I'm not sure really.
You're not sure?
Mm-hmm.
Is there anybody in the van with you? Do you mind if I check?
I do.
You do mind? I'd just like to see you in case somebody's in distress, okay? You're here by yourself?
I have my dog.
Your dog's in the van? Were you yelling at your dog? No? You weren't yelling at your dog or anything? So you're not sure why they would call us for screaming coming inside of the van? No? Okay. Well, like I said, I'm just trying to do an investigation to make sure everything's okay.
Appreciate it, Foreman. You got your badge number?
3086.
All right.
Yep.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, hold on. What is your name, sir? I gave you mine. It's only fair.
Am I being detained?
Right now, I'm trying to investigate and make sure everything's okay.
I just need a yes or no on that.
Yes. Right now, I'm trying to investigate and make sure everything's okay. Do you mind if I get your name?
I do mind.
Okay. Why do you mind? I'm being polite to you, sir.
I have the right to a Fifth Amendment right.
Realizing he couldn't handle a guy who knew his rights, the cop immediately escalated it by detaining him until he could finish the investigation. He switched on his flashlight and peered inside the vehicle, only to find the dog as mentioned before. That's when the cop clued in on how foolish the situation had become. He thanked the man for his cooperation and left with his head down. Not the best kickoff to his career now, is it?
I'm just trying to investigate a situation.
You're not answering my questions, sir.
Okay.
You're not answering my questions.
Okay.
If I'm not being detained,
I don't know why you're making this more complicated than it needs to be.
If I'm not being detained, I'd like to leave.
Okay, you are being detained. Okay. As of right now, I'm just trying to make sure everything's okay.
All right.
Yeah. I'm gonna just make sure there's somebody in the van.
Sure.
Nobody's in the van, and you, like I said, I'm just trying to figure out why they would have said possible screaming coming from inside of the van. You see what I'm saying?
I get it. I just don't answer your questions. I understand, though, your position.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the little bit of cooperation you gave me.
All right. Have a good day.
Where you go?
On a sunny day, a man decided to exercise his First Amendment rights by filming and taking pictures outside when a cop approached him. The cop, unaware that the man was a journalist creating his own content, didn't consider it significant at that moment. After all, anyone, journalist or not, has the right to photograph and record in public. However, the cop disagreed, deeming the man suspicious and demanding his ID. The officer, seemingly hungry for authority, refused to provide his badge number, claiming he didn't have to, as if unaware it was part of his job description.
What's your name and badge number? Officer Baker, what's your badge number?
You got it right there.
What's your badge number?
Okay, I don't have to tell you that.
That is part of your policy to tell me that. What's wrong, sir? Why are you coming out being unprofessional?
I'm just asking why you're taking pictures of it.
But I mean, if you're going to engage me, you can't give me your badge number like your policy states?
68.
Wow, man. Come out being unprofessional.
We got with a suspicious subject in our lot. Do you have an ID on you?
No, I don't provide ID.
Okay.
Minus a crime.
Well, here's the thing. You're acting suspiciously. Somebody's reporting you acting suspiciously.
Okay.
So now we're involved. So I need some identification.
It's suspicious felony or misdemeanor?
Okay, it's neither right now.
So, okay, then if I'm not suspected of a crime, I'm standing in public property,
you're not
exercising my First Amendment right.
Okay,
Are you going to wage war on that today, sir?
I'm not looking to wage war. Somebody's saying that you're acting suspicious. I know you're also doing something over in Waukegan or
That's correct.
Dunkin' Donuts.
That's correct. I'm exercising my rights today, sir.
The cop was hell-bent on proving his point despite admitting the man wasn't breaking any laws. He refused to let it go, insisting that he received a complaint about someone filming. Instead of educating the complainants on the man's right to film, the cop seemed more focused on stopping the person filming. When he realized that he couldn't win the argument, the cop attempted to make a quick exit. However, the man started to follow the cop, threatening to file a complaint against him.
I understand that. Right now, you were reported as acting suspicious.
By recording.
It's my job. You're not doing anything wrong.
That's correct. So why would I have to disclose my information to you if I haven't done anything nefarious or illegal?
Because somebody's reporting activity that's
Well, all you have to
suspicious.
do as an officer is let them know that I'm not doing anything illegal.
Okay, you're not doing anything.
So why didn't you convey it to them, sir?
Okay, well, they're asking me to ask you what you're doing, and you're not.
And I just told you, I said I'm standing here, exercising my First Amendment right to record in public.
Okay.
Simple.
All right, have a good day.
You still don't want to identify yourself?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, I'm gonna come in and file a complaint on you. Definitely, man. Come out trying to give directives.
You have to get some ID in order to fire.
No, absolutely not, man. You turning out to be a tyrant, Officer Baker. You know, you saying I need ID to file a complaint. Wow.
All right, go ahead and ask.
Ever wondered about the behavior of newly hired officers? Well, this video might just enlighten you to some of their craziest behavior. A bunch of fresh recruits, including one female officer, believed they could demand ID or a driver's license without any valid reason when stopping people. The cops wrongly assumed that labeling it as a traffic stop granted them full authority over the situation. However, the truth was far from it, and it was just a matter of time before they encountered citizens ready to put them in their place. This young cop urgently needed a lesson on the importance of having a valid reason to stop someone in traffic. He struggled to articulate his reasons and ended up making things up on the spot.
What does that mean?
That is suspicious activity. When I'm conducting my investigation, you're steadily just sitting here driving past me.
Now, sitting and driving is two different things. You say sitting there
We're not
driving?
sitting. You drove past me.
No, I didn't. I was on the
Okay,
passenger
I don't know
side.
what you're trying to establish, okay?
Are you guys live too?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. How you
You got a
doing?
driver's license on your boat?
You don't need to give me your driver's license.
Yeah,
For what?
this is a traffic stop. You have a driver's
What's the traffic stop? What it's all about?
I just explained it to you while you're sitting there recording. You can rewatch your recording.
No. What's the violation though for the
You got
traffic
your driver's
stop?
license on you. I'm just gonna run your driver's license. Get
No, you're not. You're not running the driver's license because he didn't break a law. He didn't break a law.
You driving back and forth while
On the highway, on a public highway. It's a street.
After your stop was done. Your stop
Exactly.
was done.
Where my
The
li-
person
where my
was going,
lights
you let
off.
him go. You let him go.
Where my lights
You
off.
let him go.
Where my lights
But
off.
you let him go.
This man with his service dog found himself at a store where the staff insisted he provide papers for the dog, even though it's illegal to ask for such documents, even at a grocery store. Uncomfortable with the situation, they eventually called the cops, claiming trespassing because the man refused to give them paperwork. The police arrived and a female officer asked the man to step outside, supposedly to give them privacy, though he never requested it. Throughout the encounter, she pretended to assist, but in reality, she violated his constitutional rights. Once outside, she questioned him about his presence, acting as if it was her business.
Step outside, really?
Yeah, just to give you some privacy.
So
that's all.
you do realize they're in violation of Section 2, Part B of federal
If you
law?
want to step outside, so we can speak. Okay.
Why am I being removed from the business?
Listen.
Why am I being removed from the business if
I
this is not your false indoctrination of the law?
I wanted to step outside because I wanted to give you privacy. That's why I wanted to take
Yeah.
you outside to explain to you. So I want to hear it from you as far as what happened today.
What do they tell you?
I'm not. That's not what I asked. I'm asking you.
I came here.
Because there's two sides. To
I
this
came here because I wanted to do business here.
Okay.
I wanted to actually have a store here.
Okay.
And before I was even able to talk to the person, I was told that my service animal was not welcome here. And I was told without paperwork, you would come and have me no trespass from the business. Now that you showed up and you're asking me to leave the business, I'm accusing you of what they said they have you do in the past on a normal basis.
The female cop attempted to clarify to the man that the store was private property with its own set of rules that he must follow. According to her, if the store's rule required people to provide papers for their dogs, the man should have complied. However, the mere disapproval of the staff regarding a man with a dog doesn't necessarily establish it as a business rule. Shouldn't they have consulted their manager or the freaking law before involving the police?
I'm telling you what they said they have you do on a normal basis in the past here. They said they do this to people all the time on film.
So, are you all
with
set
the
for me to
police.
explain things to you? Are you all set for me to explain things to you?
I'm listening. Do you have a name, badge number?
My name is Officer Dillinger.
Badge number? Can you say it for the camera, please?
164.
And you, sir? Proposal? Proposal.
So,
Thank you.
alright. So here's the deal. This is a private business. They have their rules. So if someone comes in with a dog that you're claiming, they're not saying that you're lying about it being a service dog. You know what I mean? You don't have a reason to call you a liar on that. You're saying it's a service dog, it's a service dog, right? But they have rules that as a business they would follow. So when they ask you for the paperwork, you don't have to give them the paperwork, but aside from that,
The man conveyed to the female cop that they were wasting their time dealing with him. He explained that as police officers, they should be addressing the refusal of service to a disabled person by the store employees. Furthermore, he asserted that he wasn't obligated to show any papers and had proof to support his claim, which he wanted to show the cops. Hoping the police would take action against the workers for refusing service, the man was disappointed when the female officer, though admitting that he didn't have to hand over any papers, stated that she didn't hear the workers explicitly refuse to serve him.
At this point, I'm going to turn the film off, and I'm going to show you what federal violation they're in, and I'm going to also show you what ticket you're supposed to give them for this federal violation if they still refuse me service after you tell them.
they have the right
Hear
to
me?
refuse.
I'm going to show you the law
Okay.
that explains the ticket that you're supposed to give them after they still refuse to the natural accommodations for all disabled people. After you correct them, if they're still not willing to let me in the business, you're supposed to give them this ticket. I'm going to show you what you're in violation of now, and at that point, I'm going to turn the camera back on.
Okay.
Now, Google properly explained to you what laws they're in violation of, and you need to cite them tickets for. Am I right?
So what I heard when you had that Google thing going on, like I explained to you prior, is you don't have to show your paperwork. I'm validating that. But as a business and as a private establishment, they have the right to refuse anyone into their business.
Right, and you have the right to give them the fine. Are you going to enforce the fine that you heard them saying?
I've never heard of that fine before.
But you just heard it, right?
Everything was crystal clear to the man. This female cop lacked knowledge of the law, and he had no interest in continuing the conversation with her. He insisted on her calling a supervisor immediately, but she refused, requesting his name first to make the call. This demand didn't grant her any authority. It only affirmed the man's early assertion that she had no idea what she was doing.
Yes.
Okay, so now you're saying...
Like
so why don't you get your supervisor here? Because obviously, if you've never heard of the fine and you're not willing to enforce it, your supervisor needs to be here immediately.
Okay. Well, I need to know your name so I can let them know.
My name is Good Citizen. The good citizen that is auditing you because you have no clue about the laws that I just informed you of, and now you're refusing to enforce.
Okay.
Can you have your supervisor here immediately,
Could
please?
I have your information as far as your name, please?
You can have your... No.
Well, if you're not willing to give me your information, then I'm not willing to...
So are you extorting me for my information?
I'm willing...
You're telling me that you're not willing to do what you're properly supposed to do, and extortion matters because of refusing to give you my information. That's extortion. So you're telling me you're not willing to do your job because you're extorting me for my name first.
Since the female officer refused to call the supervisor, the man turned to the other cop accompanying her. He asked him to make the call, hoping he'd recognize the obligation to provide a supervisor when requested. Sadly, the response was a big letdown. The cop shrugged it off, claiming it wasn't his concern and telling the man to leave him alone. If he's not ready to be approached by citizens, maybe a career change is in order. The female officer, like a broken record, kept insisting on the man's name. In response, he playfully suggested she could call him Good Citizen. Naturally, she wasn't too thrilled with that answer.
All I was asking you was for your name so I could let my supervisor know who I'm speaking with.
Excuse me, sir. Are you participating with this tyrant? Can you have your sergeant here immediately,
Provide me with
please?
your name?
Can you have your sergeant here immediately, please, sir?
Would you like to provide me with your name?
Good citizen. Am I being detained? It seems like this has been more than 20 minutes. Do you have a reasonable suspicion of a crime?
Sorry, if you'd like
Do you have a reasonable suspicion of a crime?
Sir,
Do you have a reasonable suspicion of a crime? Am I being detained?
they don't want you here, so therefore you need to leave their property.
Am I being detained?
You're not being detained, no.
Okay, so if I'm not being detained and you don't have a legal suspicion of a crime and you're still engaging outside of your understanding of the law based on what I've shown you, can you get your supervisor here immediately?
Finally, the supervisor shows up, but his arrival didn't improve things. The supervisor acted horribly, setting a terrible example for the officers under his command. No wonder they behaved the way they did. He accused the man of trespassing and disrupting business, adding that the man's dog was supposedly aggressive inside, even though that there was no evidence to support that claim. And to top it all off, the supervisor insisted that he wasn't obligated to give his name. It's understandable for young officers to make mistakes as they learn. But how can a seasoned police officer not know the basics of their job?
Hard for me to show you information if you're going to interrupt every time I turn the camera off, sir.
How can I interrupt you turning the camera off? It's a button I'm looking for. It's like my phone.
If you're going to interrupt and start speaking while I'm trying to get Google to show you something, then obviously you're not watching or listening.
You asked to leave
Would
the
you
property.
like to see the
Because
evidence?
you have a dog with you, don't give you the right to trespass, all right?
Sir,
You
my
asked
service
to leave the
animal
property.
has
Are
done
you gonna
nothing.
leave or not?
How many
Are you gonna leave
service
or not?
animals are in there,
Are
sir?
you gonna leave or not?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, if you want to talk about this, go to the police station. I'll have a conversation with you about it.
Again, name and badge number.
Trespass.
Again,
Sergeant Thorpe. That's all you get.
167. 160. Oh, you don't have an obligation to identify yourself,
No, I don't.
and you're legally no trespassing me. Can I have that?
No trespassing.
Can I have that in writing for my lawyer?
I can't.
Can I have it in writing for my lawyer?
We don't trespass people like that.
Oh, because
That's
what you're
something
doing is illegal. That's why you're not going to write the paper?
I'm not a lawyer. I don't write trespass laws. If you think that's
You're telling me I've been
illegal.
formally no trespass. Do you have any proof?
I didn't say that. Those words didn't come out of my mouth.
So I haven't been trespassing the business. So you're telling me I
just told you
disrupted
you
the
can't be
business.
here. You're trespassing. That's what I said. You said you
Can I
can't
have
be here. You're trespassing.
can I have the legal paper that shows I'm trespassing?
You don't need to be here.
So
Fresh on duty, a female cop already believed she had the authority to conduct traffic stops and check everyone's license plates. When she pulled over a citizen, she didn't anticipate that this man knew his rights and wouldn't blindly comply with everything she said. She was immediately annoyed when the man refused to roll down his car window, even though it wasn't necessary since they could communicate perfectly through the closed window. Seeing that the man wasn't falling for the routine traffic stop, she concocted a new lie. This time, the female cop claimed that the man's vehicle was wanted, and she needed to investigate what was going on.
What's the reason you pulled me over?
I pulled you over because I was doing a property check in the area there. We had a B&E the other day.
Okay.
Ran your plate.
Okay,
Can you
so
put your window down?
no.
Put your window down.
Is that a lawful order?
What's that, sorry?
Is that a lawful order?
I can't hear you. You need to put your
You
window
could
down.
hear me a second ago. You could hear me a second ago. You can hear me now.
What's that?
You could hear me a second ago. You can hear me now. I'm not playing your games, officer.
I'm not playing games.
Okay, well, my window's not going down.
What's that?
My window's not going down.
I'm asking you to identify yourself. I've done a traffic stop. You need to put your window down.
Okay, what's the reason you stopped me?
What's that?
What is the reason that you stopped me?
I was doing a property check in the area.
Okay.
Breaking under over there.
Okay.
Ran your plate.
Okay,
And the RO of this vehicle comes back as wanted. Okay?
as wanted.
I'm asking you to identify yourself.
Okay,
Dispatch that.
is that a lawful order?
What's that? It is a lawful order.
Under what law are you Under what law are you making me identify myself?
When I stop someone under the Highway Traffic Act,
But you didn't stop me under the Highway Traffic Act. You didn't stop me under the Highway Traffic Act. You just told me that you stopped me because there was a B&E.
However, only she and perhaps one of her rookie colleagues could buy into such nonsense. Where do these young cops get this immediate sense of authority and power? The claim that ordering the man to lower the window was a lawful order, and that he had to comply just because she said so, spoke a lot about her personality.
what's that?
What part of the Highway Traffic Act is wanted?
What's that, sir?
What part of the Highway Traffic Act is a B&E? Because you've told me you pulled me over as a B&E suspect, but now you're claiming it's the Highway Traffic Act. You can't change the reason that you pulled me over, officer.
There's multiple reasons I can pull in.
Yes, but the reason that you pulled me over is because of a B&E. right?
When I
Right.
was under the
I have it all on video, officer. You can't
I can
backtrack
see it. I
now.
can literally see your camera.
Right. Okay.
That's fine.
So
You're
you
allowed
pulled
to
me
do it.
over
You need to
because of a
identify
BNE.
yourself. Okay.
Under what law do I have to identify
The
myself?
Highway Traffic Act.
But you didn't pull me
Driver
over under the Highway Traffic Act.
license. Put your window down.
Is that a law, Florida?
Yes, put your window down.
Under what law do I have to
You
put my
need to
window
identify
down?
yourself under the Highway Traffic Act.
Yes, but you didn't pull me over under the Highway Traffic Act.
You need to put your window down. Okay? I'm
It's
demanding you
not
put your
going
window
down,
Yes,
officer.
put your window down.
My window is not going down.
What's that?
My window is not going down.
Okay. You can keep me on video. Keep me on video.
The female cop eventually realized her mistake and attempted to change the reason for pulling the man over. However, he reminded her that he had been recording the entire time and could easily replay her earlier statements. The sad truth was that she didn't actually know the original reason for pulling the man over. To extricate herself from the situation, she claimed the man was free to continue filming, suggesting the video would only show him refusing to identify himself. The catch was that the man wasn't required to identify himself, especially not to someone who didn't even know the initial reason for the traffic stop.
You can keep videotaping me. You're just showing that you're refusing to identify yourself.
Well, I'm not identifying to help you in your investigation of a B&E.
I'm not investigating a BNE.
Well, that's what you told me you pulled me over for. You did not tell me that you pulled me over for the Highway Traffic Act. You cannot change the reason now, officer.
I'm stopping you under the Highway Traffic Act after I cleared your plate, okay?
Okay, so what violation did I commit under the Highway Traffic Act?
And you need to identify under the Highway
What offense did I commit under the Highway Traffic Act?
What's that first?
What offense did I commit under the Highway Traffic Act?
Refusing to identify now.
What crime are you accusing me of, officer?
You are refusing to identify yourself now.
And what crime is that?
That's arrestable under the Highway Traffic Act.
Yes, but what crime did you pull me over in the first place regarding the Highway Traffic Act? You cannot just pull me over and randomly demand my ID. We live in Canada. I have rights under the Charter.
Under the 100%. Under the
And you are
Highway
attempting to
Traffic Act,
violate my rights because you have not been able to state a statute that I have been pulled over for. You told me initially that you pulled me over because there was a B&E. Then you said that the RO of this vehicle was wanted. Now you're saying you pulled me over under the Highway Traffic Act. You really don't know why you pulled me over at all, do you?
The female cop, visibly angered, instructed the man not to speak to her as her supervisor was on his way. She carried on as if she was in the right, adding that the man was free to continue filming as if he needed her permission to do so.
You can keep videotaping. Keep videotaping.
I don't need your permission, officer.
What's that, sorry?
I don't need your permission. I know it's okay.
You need to identify yourself under the Highway Traffic Act.
And what offense have I committed under the Highway Traffic Act?
You're refusing to identify.
What offense did I commit that initiated your stop?
Driver failed to identify. You need to identify yourself.
What initiated your stop? What is the reason you pulled me over, officer?
It's okay, sir. My sergeant's on the way. Don't worry. We'll get this all figured out, okay?
The situation escalated further when the man opened his window and then closed it to test if this would provoke the female cop. Predictably, she took the bait, and with her lack of authority, she detained the man. Instead of persistently asking for the man's identification, she could have identified the reason for the stop, admitted her mistake, and then let him go without wasting his time. It was evident that she was more interested in feeding her ego, but her misfortune was encountering someone who knew the law better than she did.
Are you going to identify the root cause why you pulled me over?
You put your hood up and tied it around your face. Okay.
So what's the reason that you pulled me over, officer? What's the reason I'm being detained? What is the reason you initially detained me? What is the reason you initially detained me?
Sir, you need to identify yourself under the Highway Traffic Act.
Okay, that's not why you detained me. What is the reason you made my vehicle stop? What is the reason that you detained me, officer? You didn't detain me for failing to identify. You detained me before that option even was an option. What is the reason you detained me, officer? What's the reason you've detained me?
Sir, would you like to provide your documentation as of yet, your identification? Your
Well, I'd like to know the true reason why you pulled me over, officer, because failing to identify is a secondary offense. What's the reason that you pulled me over?
I asked you multiple times to submit your surrender your
Yes, but we live in Canada. You can't just randomly, arbitrarily force me to ID myself to you, right?
Under the Highway Traffic Act, when I pull up,
Right, but you didn't pull me over under the Highway Traffic Act. When I asked you why you pulled me over, you told me that there was a robbery.
I'm allowed to.
So how did you convert robbery into a Highway Traffic Act offense?
When did I say that I pulled you over for robbery?
Well, perhaps not robbery, burglary or vandalism or break and enter or some kind of crap, right? That's what you said.
I did not accuse you of robbery, sir.
Okay, you said that there was a burglary somewhere?
What's that, sir?
Did you not say there was a burglary somewhere?